cake. Once you get it down pat, you can even bare hand them. Like I will hopefully demonstrate one on this guy because he's got another backup friend there. But after I'm done with him, I'll show you. Just wrestle this guy to the ground. You can sometimes ice counter them too if you're feeling ballsy. But I don't recommend it so much against wolves. You can ice defense pretty well, but ice counter will generally get you chewed through. Oh jeez. I thought he was dead, but he had a little bit here. He made his will save, and he got knocked into deadly status instead. Don't ask me how skeleton wolves have any sort of form of will, but whatever. Something to lure him out. Oh jeez. Didn't knock him back far enough. Counter is always a little bit risky against these guys. Whoa. Like I said, it's always a little bit risky because sometimes you'll knock him back on 2 shots instead of 3. I don't know why it's been doing that for my character a little bit lately. Like, any weapon aside from a 2-handed sword has a good chance of not knocking them back on the 3rd hit. Like, they'll get sent back flying on the 3rd hit, and I have no idea why. I've only seen that happen a few times, too, like back in the early days whenever I made my first recording against the red spider. No idea. No idea, viewers. Well, this would be a good time for me to heal up a little bit more. There we go. That'll do. These are just mimics anyways. Well, mimics, and one of them is actually a real chest. Whenever you see mimics spawning in the 4 corners of a room like this, there's always at least one chest that has a dungeon key inside of it. So anytime you see 4 corners, 4 chests, it means 3 are mimics, 1 is an actual real chest. I still have no idea why my character is sending creatures flying after a 2nd hit instead of a 3rd. It's normally supposed to be just 3 hits, you're done. But I've noticed with one-handed swords and my bare hands, very, very rarely does that ever happen. One of them dropped a gathering axe. I'll burn that later on for experience. Normally I would enchant burn it, but I don't have enough AP to be able to learn the next step in the enchant. So experience becomes more valuable than skill points. I'm not one of those people that likes to pay, likes to pay out the bum for rebirths every 3 weeks. I like to take a more relaxed, enjoyable stance towards the game. Well, see what I mean? Knocked him back on the 2nd hit instead of the 3rd one. I have no idea why. I think it maybe has something to do with my balance. Because with my bare hands I only do 41% balance. So I probably have to get my dexterity up or something where it causes me to stop doing that. Since I'm going to be using my bare hands, especially after seeing that on just rats and vermin, it won't matter. Alright, another red. Just plain old gray town rats. And this is how we do. You can also just ready your skill up in case you think that 2nd attack is going to knock them away before it's too early. Or before you finish with them. I have no idea what causes that though. Just no clue. And bring out the sword. Nothing. No secondary spawns, just a huge room full of rats. Not that I'm complaining. That's a pretty good experience, honestly. And food besides. One, two, three, and a counter to finish. And it's pretty easy like that for the rest of them. And he's smashing. As long as he mixes up your melee with... And he's countering great. I gotta lure him after me. As long as you keep an eye on your... Whoa. Don't like using counter whenever it's in tight closed walls like this, unless it's absolutely necessary to deter them from being knocked point blank into a wall and they get back up at your feet. And I'll just see what I can do about this. Don't try to counter after a windmill, by the way. I found that tends to work out very poorly. I was hoping to get more creatures in that whirlwind sweep that you saw, but, well, it didn't work out that way, now did it? Don't attack me, would you? 1, 2, 3, and a counter. For the win. And I'm being wasteful for my sword today. I should be doing that. Don't worry too much about doing damage to your weapons. They're generally replaceable as far as things like that goes. And you'll lose some proficiency on them over time, but really, what does proficiency matter so much other than maybe 9% critical at most and a few extra points of balance? Woohoo! You have a chance of possibly doing double damage a little bit more now. You might not still, but whatever. Sword comes out, and this is probably red skeletons. Every time I say that, it's just rats. Egg. Now watch what happens if one of these things manages to get a counter-strike in on me. I'll demonstrate why you do not carry eggs on your person into combat. This is also very useful to keep in mind in case you try to go for this golden egg quest idea, where you have to go through an entire dungeon carrying a golden egg on your personage. And the golden egg's physics work exactly the same as a regular egg's physics, only you get a title if you go through it without it cracking. And one more. Skeletons? No skeletons, just rats. Ow. Ow. Eat it, you bitch. Ow. I really don't know how proficiency is gained. I heard Trahi say that it was gained just by being in combat with a monster, but I could swear that every time that I get hit, it goes up instead. That's just me, though. Whoa! Attacking something off screen on accident. Yeah, there's a bunch of red skeletons in the next room. And since it's a pre-spawned room, that means that I am going to try... Come on. Oh, and I got hit, so yeah, that's what happens to eggs whenever they get smashed. This egg is broken and no longer